This class begins our 4-part series on creating the life you'll love through the business that has helped us create the life we love. Lita and I are excited to get started and show you the way to break it down into achievable steps and make it happen. This 4-part series is available to you at any time. My name is Aisha Harley, and I am currently a diamond with doTERRA. For me, the oils have been a powerful healing tool, and both the products and the business have dramatically enriched my life. I'm excited to be sharing and supporting this path with all of you and to be teaching this series with my dear friend and doTERRA leader, Lita Bathow. I'll let Lita introduce herself to you.
Hi, I'm happy to say the same as Aisha. I'm so happy to be here, so excited to share this information with you. Something I love about doTERRA is that we can each do it in our own way, yet there is so much help and a lot of examples available of what works. doTERRA has really changed my life in ways I truly never anticipated, and I'm so excited for each of you to get on this journey of discovery and experience more for yourselves.
So in this class, we are going to cover why network marketing, why specifically doTERRA, and most importantly, helping you discover your own why. We want to start off, though, by reading a short story called Buckets, Pipelines, and Essential Oils. There was a man who lived in a village that was 2 miles from the nearest water source. His job was to haul buckets of water to the village every day. Since everyone needed water, he had perfect job security. To earn more money, he would simply make more trips. After years of hauling buckets, he realized that if he didn't change something, he would be hauling buckets for his entire life. So he made a plan. He would haul as many buckets as he needed to pay the bills, and in his spare time, he would work on building a pipeline. He stayed consistent and persistent in his pipeline building efforts. A few years later, he finally finished the pipeline and turned on the spigot in the village. The villagers would come and get the water whenever they wanted. He not only created a pipeline of water, but he created a financial pipeline that allowed him to pursue his greater cause, or we might say his why, and higher purpose in life. So the question is, are you hauling buckets or are you creating a pipeline? This business overview will demonstrate how simply sharing essential oils with others can help you create a financial pipeline.
So this story really illustrates what residual income is and how it can make a difference. I can really relate to this personally, and I know a lot of you listening and watching can as well. So in my case, I've been a yoga teacher for about 15 years. So the deal is I get paid for every class that I teach, paid by the hour, or else paid by the class. And in fact, in a lot of my classes, I actually get paid a few dollars for each student. So I only get paid if I teach a lot of classes, which hopefully each one has a lot of students in them. If I don't teach, I don't get paid. If I go on vacation or do some continuing education and leave town to do that, I don't get paid. And even if I'm right in Portland teaching consistently, there's only so much I can make on classes because it's only humanly possible to teach so many classes in a day. So this is why most yoga teachers, in my case, would be eventually starting to think about making videos, writing books, or teaching online courses, because we need something that provides income above and beyond just the hours we work. So when you're trading hours of your day for income, it really puts a limit on how much you can make. It really requires you to show up every day, and there's also kind of no end in sight. So it's hard to get ahead. This is where residual income comes in, where you're creating a pipeline that will continue to work with you and for you, whether you are putting in those hours at the present moment or not.
That's pretty cool, huh?
I love it.
So we want to teach you how to build a pipeline. But first of all, This comes up a lot in many conversations I have, and this came up for me when I started doTERRA, is I thought, oh, it's network marketing. And I had very mixed experiences around that. And so we wanted to dispel some of the myths of network marketing and explain this a little bit more thoroughly so you can have a clear understanding of the difference between network marketing and a pyramid scheme.
I know a lot of people have said to me when I introduced just the subject of doTERRA, they would say, oh, isn't that a pyramid scheme? And I know everyone has probably heard that before. Have you heard that?
I've heard that, and I actually thought that myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very valid and it's very common, and this comes up for just about everybody in the beginning.
Right.
So we want to go through these. So myth number 1, network marketing is an illegal pyramid scheme. The truth. The shape of an organization does not determine legality. So think about this. If it did, most businesses and organizations, including the government, would be illegal because they all have a pyramid structure. An illegal pyramid scheme provides no products or service. This is key, and I'm going to say it again. An illegal pyramid scheme provides no products and service and is actually the trading of money only and pays according to the number of recruits. So again, pyramid schemes, you might be aware of the airplane game in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
where I get Lita to give me $500. And when she gets enough recruits, we're going to cash out with 40,000. I think it was something similar to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually not sustainable.
And it's also not a legitimate business of any kind.
And it's totally illegal. So just to understand the difference. Legal network marketing programs offer products or services that are sold to consumers. Recruiting new members allows for increased income based on the volume of sales. Legitimate network marketing companies also adhere to legal guidelines, including publishing average income statistics, which we're going to share with you later for doTERRA, not having inventory requirements, and providing options for a refund.
Right.
So you're basically making commission on the sale of products. To sum that up.
Exactly. So our second myth is that only the person at the top makes money. And the truth here is that that myth more accurately describes what we think of as a regular job. After all, if you look at many corporations or businesses, how often does someone at the bottom become the CEO? In a good, sustainable network marketing company, the members can make any amount regardless of where they are in the organization. So I know a really common misconception is, oh, the person at the top is making all the money. I'm getting in too late. The person at the top is making all the money. But that's actually not true. Some of the biggest leaders of doTERRA are just joining now. So it's totally possible to far exceed the income of the person above you. And we'll explain a little bit more about how that works later. But income in this business is related to effort and consistency, not the position that you hold in the company.
I always tell people your business starts with you. It doesn't matter who your upline is. It doesn't matter
How long you've been doing it.
how long you've been doing it. It starts with you. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be as successful as you want it to be, regardless, again, of where you're starting in that organization. Myth number 3, network marketing uses people. The truth. Success in network marketing comes from helping others reach their goals. A person cannot earn income off the efforts of their recruits without investing time of their own in supporting their team. Admittedly, some network marketers see potential recruits as dollar signs, but those people are not as successful as those who are genuine in the efforts to help their recruits do well. And in doTERRA, this is really about helping others use the product. We find that once people start using the product and they have those daily miracles from using the oils enter into their life, they usually don't want to stop using the product. And most of the people that cancel their accounts or don't continue just simply haven't been educated. So if you take that time to invest in the people that you enroll, they usually will become, one, lifetime customers and or begin to do the business.
Right. So moving on to myth number 4, eventually the market will get saturated. The truth is that saturation is impossible because there's never a finite number of people. Every day new people are born, new people turn 18, and it adds to our potential network. There's a book called Network Marketing for Dummies by Zig Ziglar, and Tim Sales says in that book that one of the best arguments against this myth of saturation is to think, well, do you know anyone that doesn't have a refrigerator?
No.
So why do they keep selling refrigerators? So I think that's true. I meet people every day, even here in Portland, where literally hundreds of people I know, maybe thousands, have the doTERRA products. I meet people every day who've never even heard of doTERRA, and there's lots of room left for growth.
Myth number 5, network marketing doesn't work. How many people have thought that? I actually thought that. Did you think that, Lita, when you got involved, that network marketing isn't really work?
Yeah, and I think a lot of this comes from just network marketing developing a bad name in decades past. But the truth is a lot of change has taken place, and a lot of people's conceptions about network marketing are based on an old model that doesn't even really exist anymore.
Yeah, great point. So the truth, according to Direct Selling Association, in 2013, the direct sales industry grossed, are you ready? $31.63 billion in retail sales.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
And that's just in the United States. Worldwide, that number increased to $100 billion, according, again, to Zig Ziglar's book, Network Marketing for Dummies. These numbers indicate that network marketing can work, and it does work. This is key. Success or failure has less to do with network marketing itself, and instead is determined by the amount of effort one puts into the business. That is key. Here's an example. Many bloggers, eBayers, and other home business owners don't do well, and it's typically because they quit too soon. But you don't ever hear people saying that blogging or eBay doesn't work.
Right. I know here in Portland with our thriving restaurant industry, you see some restaurants open up and some don't last. And nobody is saying that the restaurant industry is a scam, right?
Right, exactly, exactly.
So our 6th myth is no one really makes money or gets rich in network marketing. Now, the truth, and I know Aisha and I can really attest to this from firsthand experience, is that sure, it's true that not everyone succeeds in network marketing. Maybe 2 to 10% of network marketers are earning the most money. And those are the ones who see the big picture, put in time and work consistently, and most importantly, don't give up too soon or don't give up at all. We've experienced this in our community and are thrilled to watch those who engage with the business reach their dreams and prosper. And the amazing thing is that this opportunity is really available for anybody. So we see it happen every day as people step up and engage with the business.
Now I want to speak to this a little bit because when I started, I was working really hard and my paychecks weren't that big. And I would come home after a class and I would say to my husband, wow, I don't know. I'm putting a lot of time and energy into this and I'm not making a lot of money. And luckily he kept saying, just keep going. Because anytime that you're working in a commission-based business, in the beginning, you don't make a lot of money, but in time, people that work on commission tend to make the most money. And I'm so grateful that I listened to him because I was really looking for another career opportunity after being a photographer for 20 years. And I really had no idea what that was going to be. And doTERRA came into my life, and after experiencing my own profound healing, I decided to do this as a business, and it has been the biggest blessing. And I absolutely love helping, supporting others and their own healing, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. So you have a choice. And just to wrap up this section of our class today, there's traditional employment, which again will summarize trading your hours for dollars. There's typically a limit on advancement and earnings, so usually there's a ceiling that you can reach with a company. You are reliant on your employer's vision. You're working for them, and usually you have to stay in the confines of their vision for their business. There can be prerequisites and costly education. For instance, if you want to be a lawyer, you need to go to law school. If you want to be a doctor, you need to have a medical degree, and there can be very costly expense and education. And you also have limited time freedom. The example that I want to share here is my husband, my wonderful husband, Larry. He has an MBA from a prestigious business school, and he works for a very well-known, high-profile corporation. He's worked there for about 20 years, and these days he's lucky if he receives a 2 to 5% raise at the end of this year. Unfortunately, this year, I think the raise was even a little less than that, and he's pretty much reached the cap of ceiling on his income. In the 3 years that I've been doing doTERRA, I have more than surpassed his income, and that has been quite incredible. And I've done that through sharing my passion, sharing what I love, being consistent, and not giving up.
And so in contrast to traditional employment, Aisha and I have obviously both gotten involved in network marketing, where it's doable and it's the goal to create a lasting residual income. This can mean an extra $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 per month. It can mean that you have a retirement plan that didn't exist before. And it's really creating a business that can support you in lots of ways. There's also an unlimited potential as far as how much you can earn with doTERRA, regardless of where you're coming from, what your job was before, what your experience and education level are. Something that I really like about doTERRA, like I said before, is that you can rely on your own individuality and come from your own vision to create the business that you want. So yes, we're all working with the same products, but each of us does it in our own way. Likewise, there is so much free education available for you, like this training and other trainings that you'll find in your area and online, because it's in our interest to help others succeed in this business. While it does take a lot of time at first, and certainly if you're able to put some time into it, you're going to reap rewards from this business more quickly. You can totally set your own schedule. And this is a great way to find a supplemental or replace your income as a working mom, or if you have a job and you want to transition, because you can adapt it to the schedule that you already have. Also, this business is based on education. It's very common in network marketing, or for those outside of network marketing, to talk a lot about the money, and for a lot of network marketing companies to lead with, oh, you're going to make a lot of money doing this business. doTERRA is different in this way because it's based on sharing and educating. So a lot of times people will say to me like, well, I'm not really a salesperson, I'm not comfortable selling. But the reality is that the products really sell themselves. The products are incredible. And if you carry those bottles with you and open your bottles and share the products, just through that firsthand experience, people will ask you where to get them. They might want to get some. They'll see how much you like them and they'll want some. So it's not so much that we have to sell them, but share and educate why we love them and how we use them. Likewise, we all know how much it costs to start a brick and mortar business, or really any kind of business. Like for instance, Aisha, when you got out of art school and started your photography business.
Yeah, when I started my photography business, I needed to build a dark room, and that was thousands of dollars that I didn't have, and I put it all on my credit card. Mm-hmm. So my business started in the hole, actually.
Right.
And it took me a few years to pay for just the dark room.
Yeah, and sometimes we assume that's the way it has to be. We have to go to medical school, and we have to take out loans, and we have to build a restaurant, or whatever the case might be. But with doTERRA, the cost to get started is really so minimal. Just through a $100 order per month, you're able to receive commissions. And there are stories of people with very, very little resources becoming a success with this business, because if you're smart and just make smart, small investments, it's very easy to get started.
And a lot of people will ask me, well, when can I start making money? And I just say to them, as soon as you start sharing. So it's really that simple. So you have a choice, and we want to invite you to join us in building your pipeline. We're here, we're doing this webinar to support you in that journey. And we also want to point out this really great report from the McKinsey report, that wellness is the next $1 trillion industry. It's one of the 5 fastest growing industries. And within doTERRA, we are part of the wellness industry. So I can't stress this enough. Now is the time to get involved.
So Aisha, what sets doTERRA apart, and why should we encourage people to choose doTERRA as an opportunity?
This is a great question, Lita, and we really want to stress this, because when you're considering a network marketing company, there's things that you want to take a close look at. And we're going to cover these in more detail, but those things are, how is their product? Do you like the product? A lot of companies lead with an opportunity and they really have a very low value product. I have to say that I am here because of the oils, and if I never made another dollar again, I would not stop using my oils. And I think most people in doTERRA feel that way. They also have a stellar management team. We're going to share more about them soon. And they also have a fantastic compensation plan that is set up for your success.
So about those products, if you're listening to this webinar, you've probably already had some good experiences with doTERRA oils and products. I know that, like Aisha, I would be using these products whether I was using them and doing the business or not. In fact, over 80% of people using doTERRA products are simply customers. And they have a wholesale account simply for the discount on the products. Because really, as we all know, the wholesale account allows you to purchase the products at a better price. The company has a customer retention rate of over 65%, which means once people start using doTERRA, they feel and experience the difference and they keep using them. So the industry standard of retention rates is more like 10 to 13%.
That is such a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. And it's, I know I've heard the company executives say, like, when they bring out that 65% retention rate, it's almost unbelievable to other people in other industries as well as this industry. And it just reflects the fact that people love the product. So this company is not at all based on opportunity or based on money. It's based on delivering an incredible product. And doTERRA simply offers by far the best essential oils in the world.
And one last thing to say about these essential oils is there's something that everybody needs. If you have a body,
right,
you need some essential oils.
Right. Like if you think, like, what's the potential market
really
for these oils?
It's really that simple.
Yeah.
And they're also something that can be used, quoting Dr. Hill, who's the chief medical advisor for doTERRA, from birth to death. There's something you can use for your entire life to support your wellness. So this is really cool, and I love being a part of a company that is bringing in this awareness and this work ethic. One reason that doTERRA is able to offer such great quality in essential oils is because doTERRA has a culture of trust and relationship building. From the beginning, doTERRA has created relationships with growers all over the world as they source the oils indigenously. These relationships evolved into long-term agreements, farming, cooperatives, and the creation of support and infrastructure that we call co-impact sourcing. doTERRA is literally changing the economic situation of thousands of families all over the world as they provide fair, sustainable living wages to growers and producers and support them to grow plants in a sustainable, natural way. It's called co-impact sourcing because we, as customers, benefit from the product, and on the other side, the growers benefit benefit as well. Now think about this. How cool is this? Because there's so many things that, especially as Americans or Western society, benefit from at the cost of native or less.
Like people in other countries where we have our clothes made or dyed or even our food grown or.
Yeah, and they're working in
substandard conditions.
Yes, very substandard conditions. So doTERRA is supporting both sides, and we're all benefiting from these oils.
Yeah, when I found out about co-impact sourcing, I was just like, this is incredible. It's amazing. So that's not the only good thing doTERRA is doing. They also have a nonprofit organization called the Healing Hands Foundation, and they're committed to improving lives. They partner with other organizations, and they do their own projects to offer help to millions of people around the world. The Healing Hands Foundation brings healing and hope, as well as lives free of disease and poverty. And they also teach impoverished people how to be self-reliant through things like microloans and so on. doTERRA International provides all the overhead and administrative costs of the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation, ensuring that 100% of all donations to Healing Hands go directly to those people receiving aid. So this picture is really cool because it actually shows one of the leaders from our team, Dr. Josie Schmidt, on a trip to Mexico where we were doing some planting.
I also want to stress that most nonprofit organizations eat up a lot of money in their administrative costs. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that 100% of all donations go directly to those receiving aids is really pretty phenomenal.
That's awesome. So in working with doTERRA, you really can be confident that you're part of something amazing. We are truly changing the world, one drop, one person, and one community at a time.
So let's talk about the management team. doTERRA was founded in 2008 by an executive team of seasoned business, marketing, and healthcare professionals with a reputation for integrity and performance in the direct selling industry. I have met them all personally, and what is most important to me is their hearts, their integrity, and their passion about supplying us with the purest, most potent essential oils in the world. I feel absolutely honored to be aligned with this company. I want to also share a little bit about their personal story, because they all founded this business from cashing in their 401ks, taking second mortgages on their homes, and they started the business. They used to meet in a library in Orem, Utah, and they didn't even have a product yet to sell. They had the vision of what they wanted to sell, but they actually, as much as they were all connected, they were having a very hard time finding the essential oils with the quality standards they were looking at. As soon as they started the business, the market actually crashed.
Right, everybody back in 2007, 2008.
Yeah, everybody told them they were absolutely insane and they were actually going to lose everything.
Like it was a terrible time to start their
families. Yes. They then went to New York and met with investment bankers, and they were offered a loan, but then they wanted a very large percentage of the company. And so they said, no, we want to stay privately owned, and we want to do this our way. And so these people have come together and they've made this happen. And we're going to talk about this in the next slide. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, because they have become a billion-dollar company.
Yeah, so in December 2014, doTERRA reached that rank of a billion-dollar company. They have no debt. They have long-term 20-year plans to sustain supply. So this is really important because, of course, we as wellness advocates need a company that knows how to manage growth and keep everything running smoothly, from the virtual office to the supply of product. And they're really doing an amazing job of keeping up. Also, doTERRA has a lot of room left for growth. Although we've reached this size in just 7 years, we have lots of untapped markets right here in the US and even in Portland. I know sometimes we feel like, oh, everyone already has doTERRA. but I meet people all the time who've never heard of it. And I feel like if I just went outside and knocked on the doors down my street, I would meet people who hadn't heard of doTERRA. So there's lots of opportunity.
Absolutely. And we want to point out that only 13 network marketing companies have hit the $1 billion mark. And it took an average of 7 to 20 years. And doTERRA joins their ranks this year within 7 years of being in business. doTERRA is well on the way to becoming a household name. And if you look at our graph, you can see the comparison of the growth of Apple. doTERRA is growing at the same rate as Apple. It's also similar to Facebook. It's something that is just actually blowing the projections. Corey Lindley, the CFO of doTERRA, is constantly blown away by everything constantly being bigger and moving faster than they ever expected.
So Aisha's going to talk a little bit about why doTERRA's compensation plan is so favorable to us as wellness advocates.
So we're not going to actually break down today how all the different ways you get paid in doTERRA. We're going to save that for another class, but there's just this one thing that we want to point out to you. So first of all, Lita already mentioned that doTERRA boasts a 65% retention rate, and this is absolutely unheard of. So we have that on our side. The second thing we want to point out is that if you look at the left side of the screen where the bright colors are, we can look at the compensation plan. And this is built out in the perfect 3x3 structure. Now, the difference is that most network marketing companies pay you the highest percentage on the top and the lowest percentage on the bottom. But if you think about that pyramid structure, it actually gets much larger down below. As you build out your organization, you're going to see that, on your top line, you have 3 people, but on your 7th line, you have 2,187 people. So you're getting paid the most on the most and the least on the least. So the difference in those numbers is $32,571 with doTERRA versus $12,626 with another company. So this is the same amount of energy, the same amount of time,
Same amount of people.
yeah, the same amount of people in your organization, and that is a huge difference in your paycheck. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It really makes it, it makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Obviously.
So we're going to show you how this actually breaks out into your monthly income.
Right. Like doTERRA is very transparent about how much people are actually making. This information is freely available, and we have it right here. So to give you an idea of what an income with doTERRA looks like, these are the actual averages of incomes from each rank last year, starting with silver, which we consider the first of the leadership ranks. So silver has an average annual income of $26,000. Then at the rank of gold, it jumps up to $57,000 or $4,800 per month, and so on. So it's not just one person or a few people who are supporting their families or themselves with doTERRA. It's lots of people, and that opportunity is open to anyone.
You know what I always say to people just starting, or I say this to my team, being a diamond is the only thing that sets me apart from somebody that's newly starting this business is I've made more mistakes, I've gotten uncomfortable, I've stretched outside my comfort zone, and I have not given up. And that's what has gotten me to where I am. Mm-hmm. So it's really, we can't stress enough, this is just about consistent action and about not giving up and seeing the bigger picture. And this is available for you. This is really available to anybody that wants it. And the sky is the limit. It's pretty mind-blowing what your monthly paycheck can begin to look like.
I know. We all started in the same place. We all started with enrolling our first wellness advocate or selling our first bottle of oil. And Aisha, when you started out, was diamond your goal, or what did you think you would achieve?
Well, my first goal was silver. Diamond just seemed so absolutely impossible.
Right.
And then when I reached silver, I just said, I'm not going to stop. And then I even thought, I'll just get to diamond and I'll be good. But now I realize if I just keep doing the same thing that I'm doing, sharing and educating, now I have my eyes set on Presidential Diamond.
Right, right.
And my first paycheck was $13.
Exactly. I think my first paycheck was about $40.
Yeah.
So, and it was so cute. I took a picture of myself with my
Oh.
paycheck. Yeah, I did think like, well, one day this is going to be a really funny picture.
And I actually recommend, if you want to do the business, is to keep that first paycheck and write the amount that you would like it to be and hang it on your wall.
I know, it happens.
So in the beginning with network marketing, it can be a bit of a challenge because you're learning something new and you're trying to figure it out. Maybe you're working pretty hard, yet the payments you're getting are pretty small. So we just kind of talked about that, right?
Like when I first started out, I was like, I'd get my check and I'd be like, well, that's nice, but you know.
I know. I have to admit that I got that first check for $13. I actually didn't even know why I was getting it. And what went through my mind was, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, how could I ever make a living doing this?
Right. But as you said, within just a couple of years, you were actually at the rank of diamond. So it's pretty incredible. I find that it's almost like pushing a rock up a hill. At first, it's a ton of work. You push and you push and you try and you try. And at some point, you would kind of get over the first hump. And there's a little bit of momentum. And then momentum slowly builds. And so that balance between the effort you're putting in and how you're being compensated for it actually shifts quite a bit.
And that's why we say, get in there and work for a few years like others won't, so you can live the rest of your life like others can't. Now think about that for a moment. If you say, I want it, but I don't have time, nothing's ever going to change, and those few years go by anyway.
Right.
And you're going to stay right where you are.
I know so many times people say to me like, well, I think I'm going to do doTERRA when I have time next year. But guess what? Next year comes and you're just as busy as you are right now.
Right. And I will say that when I started, I thought, oh, some people also get caught up with, they do it for a couple months and then not a lot happens, so they give up. If I would have given up, I would not be here. I would not be a diamond. My husband within this next year is thinking about retiring from his career because my doTERRA paycheck is able to support us. Like, that is amazing.
Right. So that's definitely something that you probably wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't put in your time with doTERRA. Are there some other examples of what you're doing now that others can't do? Well,
let me tell you, I've wanted to go to Paris since I was a little girl. And I took my husband and myself on a 3-week dream vacation to Paris in Italy last fall. And this is something that I would not have been able to do in the past, especially in the way that we did it. And the very cool thing is that while I was gone, my team and my business kept moving forward without me. And most excitingly, I actually received the largest paycheck to date when I was in Paris.
That's incredible. It's just the pipeline in action.
It's the pipeline in action. So all of that work really paid off, and I really was able to take that in on that vacation and just say, wow, look at what I've created and look at the life that I've created.
Yep.
So we hope we've inspired you to join us in doTERRA. And one of the first and most important starting places is to define your why. So unless you really know why you're doing the business, then when you get to that tough spot, which happens to all of us, or you get discouraged.
Or somebody says no.
Yeah, and I promise you, several people will say no. Then you can go back to this. It may take a few questions to yourself to kind of figure this out, the root reason. So we're going to help give you some guidance around this. And let's actually start with Lita's why.
Oh, for an example?
Yeah, will you share with us your why?
Well, let's see. I might start by thinking, well, my why in doing the business is I teach yoga and I do wellness related activities and I educate people on using essential oils to provide solutions to their everyday problems. I really find it to be simpler, safer, and more effective than a lot of the options out there.
And why is that good?
Well, I find everyone these days is so overwhelmed and busy, and we have so many choices for diet, different options for healthcare, and this is really a safe, economical, simple solution that works and makes a difference.
Is that your why?
My why comes from the fact that I'm a creative person. I came from a family of artists. I chose to go to art school. I ended up teaching yoga, and I've never had what we would think of as a regular job. I think there are a lot of people like me that reach, 35 or 40 years old and realize that they're trading hours for dollars. They have no retirement or very little in retirement, and there's kind of no end in sight and no way to get ahead financially. I found myself in this position, and while I enjoyed what I was doing, I just got a little bit worried about my future. And doTERRA has offered me a way to funnel all of my talents in one direction and create financial freedom, health, and personal growth, not just for me, but for everybody who wants it, and to bring people on my team and empower them to experience the same thing. So as a doTERRA leader, I feel like I'm literally leading the way on a path to self-knowledge, independence, and financial stability. And it's really empowering and inspiring. I never knew what it would be like until I was doing it, and I truly love it.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing, Lita. It's so inspiring. I'll share a little bit about my why. When my father passed away, it really changed the financial stability for my entire family. So that's my mom and my sister. And being the eldest child, take on a lot of responsibility, I thought, I'm going to start this doTERRA business so I can take care of my mom and I can help my sister who's a single mom. And what I didn't realize is that I actually started a business for each of them. And over time, a business was built for them. So in the beginning, I thought I would make enough money that I could give them money and share those profits, not realizing that now they each have their own business. And this has allowed my sister to retire from her profession. She worked in the production industry for commercial photography. And it was really taking time away from her daughter. It was affecting her health, etc. And now she's joined me in doTERRA and done that full time. So to have that stability for our family has been really huge. And now that my cup is full, then I have that much more abundance to share in the world, and I can go do things that make a difference and help other people. And I really love that and feel passionate about that. So how would your life be different if you achieved your goals?
I think this is such a great question to reflect upon. It's almost like creating a vision board with your imagination. And if you all out there listening want to, you can take some time and actually get out your scissors and glue this week and create a collage of the life you envision for yourself. But just take a moment right now and think of like what your goal might be. Just your first goal with doTERRA. Maybe it's to get your oils paid for. Maybe you'd like another, $500 a month or $1,000 a month, or maybe your goal is bigger. Whatever your goal is, what would your life be like if you achieved that goal? What difference would it make? And most importantly, how would it feel? If you can get in touch with that feeling of what it would feel like, then when you come up against challenges, which we all do, difficult moments in our business, just bring yourself back to that feeling. How do you want to feel, and what do you want your life to be like? And then you can maybe find a step that you can take, just one step to move in that direction.
So we have a call to action for you. If you've decided to join us, we have your first mission. So first of all, we just want you to start using your oils. If you're new and you just set up your account, we want you to get to know the product. That's first and foremost very important. If you're not sure how to use your product, then talk to the person that enrolled you and get some instruction on that. Then, as you begin to have experiences, it's important to start sharing those experiences with others. And let this be an organic process. I think of this as beginning to plant the seeds in your garden. This is what I did in the beginning of my business, is I just started sharing my experience without any agenda.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide that you're doing the business, it's really important to contact your upline. And if your upline is not engaged, then just keep going up into your first silver upline and let them know that you want to do the business and ask them for some guidance and support.
Exactly. So you can also find a lot of support, a lot of community, and get a lot of your questions answered on our Essential Wellness business page on Facebook. We also post things related to the content we're talking about and things like videos, documents, and tips. And when you engage there, you'll find a bunch of people working on the same project of creating a doTERRA business. So a lot of people have the same questions you do, and also a lot of people have the answers to your questions. So feel free to check in there as often as you like.
Yeah, we have a really great support group on Facebook. And if you're doing doTERRA and you're not on Facebook, I highly recommend considering it so you can engage on these pages. Also, very important, if you're doing the business, you need to have your loyalty reward template set up and always set to a minimum of 100 PV. And we recommend that you do the 125 PV before the 15th, so you'll always get the free product of the month. And this will ensure that you will also always get your paycheck.
Also, take some time this week to define your why. There are some worksheets available to help you break this down and figure it out, and those are also available on our Facebook page. But you're on the right track if your why makes you feel something. So your why represents the passion you feel for why you're doing what you're doing. And so sometimes we say your why should make you cry, because it's bound to be something that makes you feel so strongly that you can pursue the business.
And lastly, if you haven't already, please check out doTERRAuniversity.com. It's very important to know how your back office works, what all the terms mean, how to sign somebody up, etc., etc.
And we are going to cover some of that in our next classes.
We are going to cover that. However, we would like you to go to doTERRAuniversity.com. They have some short little webinars to watch, most of them around 5 minutes. They're very short. And they have a little quiz. So that way, if you're getting caught up and you're not understanding something, and I just want to add, I had to ask my enroller on several occasions to get some clarity around the business. So figure out what you don't understand, and then you can get support around that and start to lay that foundation of understanding. So really simple. Use your oils, ask your upline for support, join the business page, make sure your LRP template is set up, and define your why. So now is the time.
There's no better time.
There's no better time. We invite you to take action. We're excited that you joined us today, and we're looking forward to the next webinar.
Right. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.